They botched a national anthem protest before the game, and it went downhill from there as they lost 23-17 to the previously winless Bears in overtime at Chicago. The special teams were awful and the defense collapsed in overtime. Almost lost in all the badness was the offense turning in a third straight tepid performance. This time, the Steelers were unable to overcome it after beating the Cleveland Browns and Minnesota Vikings in their first two games. The star-studded offense is 16th among the 32 NFL teams with an average of 21.3 points a game. The Steelers, 2-1, are 21st in total yardage, 302.3 a game, and 20th in yards per play, 5.0. It has been a mediocre effort from a group that includes quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, wide receiver Antonio Brown and running back Le'Veon Bell. Roethlisberger had a so-so performance against the Bears, completing 22 of 39 passes for 235 and one touchdown. For whatever reason, I did not make all the throws I normally would and make the plays I normally should, and that is why I think we lost the game, Roethlisberger said. The Steelers plan to stay in the locker room for the national anthem rather than make players choose between standing or kneeling in response to President Donald Trump's inflammatory remarks in which he said NFL teams should fire players who refuse to stand. Trump referred to those players as son of a bitches. However, offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva, who served 3 tours of duty with the United States Army in Afghanistan, asked if he could watch the anthem from the tunnelway leading to the field from the locker room. The rest of the team planned to stand behind him. But a snafu resulted in Villanueva standing alone in full view of the crowd, while the rest of the Steelers could not be seen. The Steelers plan to take the field this Sunday for the anthem when they play the Ravens, 2-1, at Baltimore, though it is unclear if some players would protest in some form. Hopefully we learned something from this week's past experiences in terms of being able to be singularly focused in the midst of a potential storm that's outside of our control, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said. Was it a distraction? I'm sure it was in a lot of ways, but we still got a job to do, and hopefully we learned from it. Roethlisberger admitted that the confusion likely affected the Steelers. Probably be lying if I said no a little bit, Roethlisberger said. There is a whole lot going on in the state of the world, if you will, and in sports, and in the NFL, but we cannot make excuses. The expiration date has almost been reached for using the excuse of rustiness to explain Bell's poor start after sitting out the preseason in a contract dispute. Bell rushed for 61 yards and his first touchdown of the season on 15 carries last Sunday and had 6 receptions for 37 carries. But through 3 games, Bell is averaging 3.5 yards a carry, 52 for 180, and 4.3 yards a catch, 13 for 56. Those are not statistics befitting the highest-paid running back in the league, as Bell is making $12.12 million this season while playing under the franchise tag. Brown is off to an outstanding start as his 26 receptions and 354 receiving yards lead the league. However, no other Steelers wide receiver has more than 7 catches, despite that being one of the Steelers' deeper units. Roethlisberger has a 62.7 completion percentage and is averaging 247 yards passing a game. The completion percentage is his lowest since 2010, and his yards per game figure is the lowest since 2008. Those are the last 2 times the Steelers reached the Super Bowl. However, it is hard to imagine the Steelers making it that far this season if the offense continues to sputter like it has so far.